Victorinox. Hey everyone, my name is Sheena and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am a full-time reseller on eBay and Poshmark. Today we're going to talk about the top 10 items that sold so far in January. Today is the 15th, so it's pretty much the middle of the month here. Anyway, so I have my top 10 items that sold in January so far, and I also have items that sold in less than 10 days. So I want to preface here a couple of things. I really do rely on the profit margin when it comes to my sales. It only took me 3.5 years to figure this out. So we are going to look at the top 10 items that sold in January so far. And this is the profit margin of 65% or higher. So we are doing 65% all the way up to 82.46% in profit margin, which I am really excited to show you guys. We're gonna start from the lowest to highest here. The first item, this one literally sold yesterday. It took 44 days, but you guys, you cannot ever sleep on this brand. And it is Johnny Was blue embroidered long sleeve tunic top, or a dress, a tunic dress, whatever you guys want to call it. It sold in 45 days with a profit margin of 65%. I paid $9.58 for it, and it sold again in 44 days with a profit margin of 65%. Sold it yesterday, shipped it out this morning. Up next, we have this lovely Spanx Encore open bust mid-thigh bodysuit that gave me a profit margin of 66%, and it sold within 160 days. So I had to hold on to it. It was a pretty sought after brand, not only brand but also style when I looked it up and sold. So I was really hanging on to it. I did pay $4 for it, $3.91 to be exact, and it took a little over 3 months to sell. So anything for me moving forward in my business model, anything that does not sell for more than 3 months, I have to just kind of reevaluate my stuff and see what I can do as far as adjusting the price maybe, or taking a giant cut on the profit margin here. Okay, so that wasn't too bad. And it was a plus size, so that was great. Next is this brand that I just sold 2 days ago, and it is a Tadashi black ruffled tiered square neckline silk midi dress. It was definitely giving me 90s vibes, and I knew someone was gonna pick it up. I did pick this up at the bins in Orlando a few months ago. Wow, several months ago, back in April, and it sold 2 days ago on the 13th with a 68% profit margin. You cannot beat that. Up next is this Starbucks Singapore mug collector series. I did pick up a couple of Starbucks mugs back at my local thrift store back in September here. This one's sold for full price. This one's sold for $36. I paid $4.10 a piece for these, and it sold for asking price of $36 back on the 5th. So the beginning of the year, with a 68.61% profit margin. It only took 112 days for it to sell. We are looking at a Donald J. Pliner black leather side zip over the knee boots that sold within 4 days. This item is going to also fall into my items that sold in less than 10 days. You guys, this was a trifecta. So brand, profit margin, and less than 10 days for it to sell. Less than 5 days. Come on now. This one sold for, I was asking for $100, and I got an offer for $75 this morning, and my profit margin on this was 68.91%. It sold in 4 days. So I was really excited about that. I was actually doing like a little happy dance this morning. That was amazing. I was also stoked when I found it because it was in pretty great condition. It wasn't like new condition, and the size was great. The weather for it was great. The profit margin was there. The brand was there. and the amount of time for it to sell was there too. Vineyard Vines navy blue scallop one-piece swimsuit. Okay, I know you guys, it's January, but hey, people are going on vacations, people are going on cruises. This one sold in 140 days, but there's 69% profit margin. I did pay $2.75 for it. I think it was during like an off season. Actually, not so crazy. Not an off season really. I bought it back in August and it sold. It was actually the very first item that sold in the new year. So that took only 140 days to sell with a 69% profit margin. That's great. So I took it. I accepted. The offer was just $5 less than what I was asking for. So I think that's where the profit margin was. I wasn't asking for too much. I think swimsuits like that, especially if it's like a very mid-tier brand, $25 to $30 seems to be like a sweet spot for me. The next item I sold back on the 10th, took 52 days to sell with a 71.63% profit margin. It is this brand called Pit USA, and it is a hot pink V-neck line mini. This is the abaya cover-up tunic dress. You guys, if you ever see this brand, grab it. Just grab it. This is a very sought-after swimsuit cover-up brand. This is my second time I found this brand, and this is the second time I sold this brand. I have three Pit USA cover-ups, and this is the second time I sold one. And the profit margin is amazing, 71.63%. Did take some time to sell. It wasn't too bad, 52 days, so about 2 months. I did get this back in November, and it sold back on the 10th. So again, that was great. It was really another brand that is up next that took 306 days to sell, and I am no longer picking up this brand, is A New Day, which is a Target line, and it is an olive green sleeveless maxi dress. Might be a midi dress, but I think I labeled it as maxi dress. And again, 306 days with a 73.45% profit margin, and it was insane. The next item I'm really excited about. This item is in my items that sold in less than 10 days. It's this brand that I've never heard of, and it is an amazing brand. Victorinox Black Swiss Army logo mock neck knit sweater. Oof, say that 10 times. I got it for $5.14. My profit margin on this was 80.80%. It sold within 5 days. You guys, this is an amazing brand. If you ever find this brand, please pick it up. It is a new to me brand, and it was a very sought after brand, especially on eBay. The profit margins on Poshmark was a little bit all over the place, but eBay seemed to have a consistent solds. So I decided to list it a little bit higher, and I did get a couple likes on Poshmark, but eBay was just chef's kiss. It was a very, very good sale date for me this morning with a 80.80% profit margin. So I was really excited about that. So up next, and my favorite find of 2023 is this is the Elder Statesman Ivory Tan Search for Meaning Cashmere Knit Graphic Sweater. This item sold on eBay back on the 9th. I've had it for 144 days, and I had it listed for $1,200 on eBay, and someone offered me $700 for it. So when it sold, I wasn't really as excited, because sometimes when items like that sell, they normally don't pay, and I'm just like, whatever, like, don't get your hopes up. There were a lot of likers on Poshmark, a few likes, offers here and there on eBay, but after listing it for quite some time, I did accept an offer for $700. I didn't really pay anything for it. It was just more like a swap. So my profit margin on this is 82.46%. So this was by far like the best. And last but not least, we are going through the items that sold in less than 10 days. These profit margins are not the best, but they did sell 10 days or less. So I have about 9 items here that sold in 10 days or less. And the first item that sold in exactly 10 days is this Aritzia Babaton Wide Power Crop Power Blazer. And it sold in 10 days for a profit margin of 58.97%, which isn't too bad. I don't think a lot of people are looking for a white blazer at this point, but because it was a good brand. The next item that sold in 7 days, so nothing sold in 9 days, nothing sold in 8 days. So the next item that sold in 7 days is this Nation Limited black satin jet dress. This was a funny story. There was a lot of back and forth with offers on Posh, and I did have it up for $60 and I ended up settling for $39. It was way better than selling it for $29. And so we reached a medium point. I actually had to look up some numbers here. The profit margin was actually 64.10%, which is why I took the money. It sold in 7 days. So this was a pretty good, almost like an honorable mention to my top 10 items that sold in January so far. So this would have been number 11. The next item that sold in 6 days is this really cute Eileen Fisher, and it is gray sleeveless shirt dress. This one took 6 days to sell. I got this on the 9th, so I got this a little over a week ago. The profit margin is 43.81%. It was a really cute sleeveless dress, and because one of the reasons why I also took it was because the weather was a little bit off for a dress like that, like a sleeveless dress like that, almost like a sundress. But I do know Eileen Fisher is a good brand. This is another item that sold in 6 days, and it is the another Aritzia brand, which is really nice. It's a Wilfred Free brown tan open cardigan. It is super cute. I almost kept this for myself. I love cardigans like that. I think I have one that's a little bit lighter. I was totally okay with parting ways with that. Did not want to give any emotional attachment to it, even though it was a contender. It was one that I wouldn't have mind keeping. So that one sold in 6 days. Profit margin on that was 40%. So maybe people are picking up pieces to start wearing into the spring and summer. I'm not exactly sure, or again, a trip somewhere, and that cardigan would look so cute on them no matter what. Item that sold within 5 days, and it was mentioned in my top 10 items that sold in January so far, is that Victorinox Black Swiss Army logo mock neck knit sweater. Again, that one sold in 5 days with an 80.80% profit margin, and I'm just obsessed with that brand right now. And this one as well made it up there. The Donald J. Pliner black leather side zip over the knee boots. That one also sold within 4 days. This one sold within 4 days with a 68.91% profit margin. So that was also really, really good. And then here we have a Sho Tadashi Shoji sequined and floral ribbon lace mini dress in hunter green. This one is so cute. I did pick this up. It was in my first video. If you guys haven't seen my first video yet, I did like a mini haul. This one sold in 3 days with a 64.5% profit margin. Again, another honorable mention dress that sold in only a couple days with a pretty good profit margin of over 60%. And then we have this hand roll, and this was the other item that showed in my video. I think this was in my second video, and this one sold within 2 days. So that's the one. So in my video that I posted, it did sell the same day I made that video. It did sell the same day I made my second video, but the person didn't pay, and I was like, when is this person gonna pay? And literally after I made that video and I was editing my video, I got the payment. Sell for 40.6% profit margin, but That was after, because they took fees, and I was just like, oh man, it went from 60 something percent all the way down to 40% after fees and shipping. So, which was fine. It did sell in 2 days, and I will be picking up that brand again for sure. The last item, which also was in my video, was this really cute Bowden blue floral tie-waist jersey shirt dress. And again, it sold in 2 days, and it was actually the same exact day that I bought the Henro white short sleeve rib top. And so they both sold in 2 days. That one sold on Poshmark, and it sold for $36 with a 48.25% profit margin, which isn't bad. And I will be picking up Bowden again, but I am very particular what style of Bowden I am picking up, because not all Bowdens are the same. There are a lot of brands out there that don't perform the same across the board. So I will be picking up all my items that I have, all my items that sold in less than 10 days. I will be picking up continuously, and all the items that have a really, really high profit margin, most of it I will not be picking up consistently. I will be picking up consistently maybe 2 of these items, maybe 2 or 3 of these items, seriously, because it's insane how long some of these items took to sell. And again, back to the drawing board. Check your numbers. Numbers do not lie, you guys. You got to check your numbers to see if it's something that is worth keeping. I decided to follow these numbers and follow the high profit margins, and follow the items that were selling really well for me within a couple of days. And it was almost like a light bulb, you guys. That's what it felt like for me. I am still learning. I am still growing. I'm always learning new brands. I'm always learning new styles. So I will continue to grow, and I really appreciate you guys coming to watch my video. This is my 3rd video on YouTube. So if you guys like this video, give this video a thumbs up. I hope it was very informative, and I'll see you guys soon. Thank you guys for coming. Bye.